Lifeupdate。
こんにちは、早川洋平です。人生を更新するインタビューマガジンライフアップデート。今月のゲストはワイヤードの創刊編集長で、科学やテクノロジーと人類の関わりを考え続ける希代の思想家、ケビン・ケリーさん。今回お届けする前編では、最新刊 Excellent Advice for Living にフォーカスしつつ、彼が同じ形同じ色のシャツを揃える理由から樹皮の写真を集める趣味まで、変わり者であることの重要性を伺いました。失敗を恐れず好奇心を失わない生き方とは。72歳になった今も世界を歩き続ける彼に迫ります。キーワードは Wired。Hello everyone, I'm Yohei Hayakawa and welcome to my show. And today, my very special guest is Kevin Kelly, founding editor-in-chief of Wired magazine, the world-renowned author and editor. So let me tell you a little bit about Kevin Kelly. He helped launch and edit Wired magazine. He has writer for the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, among many other publications. His previous books include What Technology Wants and Inevitable, a New York Times bestseller. He is known for his technological optimism. Currently, he is a senior maverick at Wired and lives in Pacifica, California. Kevin, welcome to my show.
It's a delight to be here. Thank you, Yohei, for inviting me.
Thank you for taking time to meet me today. It is a great honor to meet you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you and waiting for this new book in Japanese. By the way, are you at home now?
I am at home. I'm in Pacifica, California, which is just near San Francisco on the coast. And it's a beautiful, sunny afternoon.
Wow, that's nice. What is climate like there today? So it is extremely hot in Japan, even morning.
We are famous for having fog. Pacifica, my hometown, is sometimes called Fog City because of the fog. We normally have fog in the summertime all day, but today the fog is lifted and it's beautiful right now. Tomorrow morning, it will be foggy again. 15, 18 degrees.
Wow, it's cool. Cooler
Yes.
than Japan. Wow.
Yes.
So do you like summer?
I like autumn. I live in a place where there's autumn year round. So all the whole year is like the fall, is like autumn. The same temperature, 15 to 18 degrees every day, all year.
That's good. Okay, so first, let's talk about your latest book, Excellent Advice for Living. Japanese edition's cover is completely different compared to original edition. Yeah, so it's interesting. By the way, CD is sticky. It was the hardest thing I have ever done in my 20 years and interview career. Honestly, every phrase in the book was so valuable that it took me more than 10 hours or more, one day or more. Yeah. To pick out which ones to ask you about. But today, I have no time. So anyway, first of all, I'd like to this question. So why did you write a book that is not about technology as you have done in the past? You appear, to be still healthy and young enough to write a will.
Yeah, why didn't I write more about technology? It's a good question. I did not mean to write the book. The book is an accident. I was writing... there were tweets. It was online. I was writing little bits of advice for my children, and I kept doing it, and they started to ricochet, go viral.
Right.
I kept doing it for a number of years, and that kept going viral. And so they spread all over the internet over many years. And after 5 years, I said, well, I would like to have them all in one spot to hand it to my children. So it was a way to take something that was already online and put it together into one book so I could hand it to somebody. And that's why it was made to be handy, more handy than having an online spread around the internet. So I did not think of making the book at first. It only came after.
Interesting. Like I said, I have a lot of questions about this book, but first of all, I'm so inspired, this phrase, page 35 in the original version and 70th word in the Japanese version, a vacation plus disaster and adventure. I'm so inspired. What is your most memorable adventure?
Oh, yeah. My wife and I went to Yosemite National Park.
Yes, I've been too.
This weekend.
This weekend, wow.
And we were walking in the morning to do a little walk around a lake.
Yeah.
Called Mirror Lake. But we got on to the wrong trail. And we went up the trail up to Vernal Falls, which was very strenuous, almost going vertical.
Yeah.
And we kept saying, this is not a mistake. This is an adventure.
Yeah.
This is like, it's not a disaster. Disaster plus travel equal an adventure. It's a way of, it's a different point of view. It's the same thing happens, but you look at it from a different lens and you can appreciate it. And if you think about it, all the stories that you tell about your travels, the ones that are the best stories are all the ones where a disaster happens.
I see.
Right? You don't tell the story, well, nothing happened. You went to Paris and the plane was on time and the hotel was good and the food was great. It's a boring story.
Right.
But if you go to Paris and the plane is delayed 10 hours and you have to take a taxi through the rain and you get soaking wet, your luggage is lost, that's the story that you tell. So almost pay extra for the disaster. That's what an adventure is. An adventure is going into the mountains where you're going to lose your luggage and you're going to not have enough to eat and you're going to just about fall off the bridge. You're paying extra to do that.
Yeah.
You pay extra money for the adventure.
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah.
When an adventure happens, when disaster happens, you think, oh, this is a cheap adventure.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. By the way, so when it comes to Yosemite, like I said, I've been to 20 years ago or more. What's it like there compared to 20 years ago, if you know?
Well, the mountains are the same. What's different now is that you need a permit. So they reduce the number of people. So it's actually nicer because there are not as many people. You can be more alone. We walked on a trail for one day and we only saw maybe 5 other people. That's the difference now.
Yeah.
You regulate the number of people that can come in. You have to get a permit to come in the summertime during the day. So they can regulate the number of people. So it's a much nicer experience to not have as many people, and you try not to drive your car around. They have a shuttle. So that's what's new. The mountains are just as beautiful as ever, but they try and manage the people.
Thank you. Yeah, so next question I'd like to. Page 21 in the original version and 40th word in the Japanese version. Pros make as many mistakes as amateurs. They've just learned how to gracefully recover from their mistakes. So I'm so inspired. So because sometimes it's very difficult to keep good vibes in our lives. What is the best recovery technique or mindset for you?
Yeah. So we have the Olympics going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that in the Olympics, people make mistakes, professional athletes.
Yeah.
But they are professional because they tend not to let the mistakes rattle them or distract them. And so what they learn to do is to, in some ways, expect the mistake, and they learn what to do if they make a mistake, how to recover. So like, I give you an example. I give presentation to people, thousands of people, and giving a talk. If you do it enough, you know that at some point somewhere the presentation won't work. The electricity goes out, or the computer crashes, or something will happen, and you have to accommodate that. You have to not stop, or you have to know what to do when that happens, which is to make a joke about it, or to keep talking and then let someone else fix it. So you, in a certain sense, practice. I would say one thing is practice when things go wrong. When the pilots are flying the planes, they have a simulation and they practice all kinds of disasters. The engine goes out. What do you do? And they practice it. And if you run out of fuel, what do you do? And they practice that so that when it actually happens, they're very calm. They're doing it because they've already practiced that. So in a certain sense, you want to rehearse the worst case. Rehearse what would happen if you're giving a talk and the lights go out. Or you're giving it, what would you do? How would you recover? How would you do that? But it could be even small things. Like one of the things you learn, I'm a maker. I make things. I make furniture. I make art. You measure incorrectly and you cut the thing wrong. So you have to practice recovering from that, meaning that you come to expect that somewhere along the line in making the furniture, you're going to make a mistake. Rather than throw everything away, you recut that one board or you modify. There are tricks, recutting the board to make it the right size or reusing it or repairing it. And if you watch a professional, you will see that they have lots of tricks for recovering from their mistake. And you realize they make mistakes almost as often as I make a mistake. But when they make a mistake, it doesn't look terrible because they have another little trick, like a professional football player, a professional singer when they make the wrong note, or a professional comedian when they say the line wrong. They have a way to recover. So that recovery process is where experience helps.
Yeah.
And we're watching what other people do to see how they recover from their mistake. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that someone could do as a teacher to a student, to show them how to recover from their mistakes. What you really want to learn when you're a student. You want to know, how do I recover from my mistakes? Because I'm going to make a mistake.
I see. Compared to you, you might not make a mistakes a lot compared to 50 years old you, 30 years old you.
That's not true. No. Here's why. I would not make as many mistakes if I was doing exactly the same things as I did 25 years ago.
Wow.
But if you are a person who's always getting younger, you try new things, raising the bar, you keep doing things that you might fail at, and therefore you're going to keep making new mistakes. That's the goal. My goal in life is to make new mistakes, not to make no mistakes, but to make new mistakes. Because I'm trying something new that I haven't done before as well, and I'm going to make mistakes. And so you want to get good at making new mistakes and recovering from those mistakes.
Interesting. So in such a sense, you are living every day to make new mistakes.
Yes. Have you made a new mistake today?
I don't know. Because it's early morning, but definitely I have had a lot of mistakes this conversation. So English mistakes a lot, but you are so kindful. Thank you.
Yeah, your goal should be make a new mistake today. I think mistakes and failure are a sign of progress. They're a sign of learning. They're a sign of advancement. And you don't want to eliminate mistakes or failure. You want to make them into a habit where you keep them small. You want to make mistakes at a small level on a very frequent basis. You want to have small failures. You don't want to have, the problem is if you outlaw failure, then what happens is you get the failure all at once in a huge, big failure, which you don't want. You want to manage your failures to keep them regular and small.
I tried.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next question. This question I do want to ask you. Page 194 in the original version and 490th word in the Japanese version. You will spend 1/3 of your life in your bed sleeping and almost another third in your chair sitting. Right. It's worth investing in a great bed and a fantastic chair.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Could you give me some specifics about the chairs and the beds you currently use or think are the best? My listeners or audience love specifics like brand and model where you found it.
I would be happy to give you the bed specifics, but I don't know what them. I don't remember. It's been so long ago. But I do know that a name like Herman Miller or those kinds of brands are worth the money. I looked at the Herman Miller Arion chair was very famous for a while, but I don't have those recommendations. I think in America we have a very good review site, which now is owned by the New York Times.
I see.
It's called Wirecutter. And they have the best consumer reviews of things like the best mattress, the best chair, where they spend a lot of time researching and coming up with the best. And I use them all the time. So my recommendation is an indirect recommendation. My recommendation is go to Wirecutter.
It's unexpected.
What the best mattress is today and the best chair is today. So I run 2 recommendation sites. I have Recommendo. Recommendo is a newsletter that recommends things every week.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
And I have Cool Tools. Cool Tools recommends tools every day for 20 years. 21 years. Every day we recommend tools. So I know a lot about recommendations. I know what the Wirecutter does is very reliable. I know how much work it is. So you can make a mistake with a bed or the wrong chair, but because you spend so much time in it, if you make a mistake, you just need to change and get a new chair or a new bed. You don't have to live with it for all your life. The thing about things like bed and chairs is that oftentimes what's good for one person is not good for you. So you want to try and sit in the chair, go to a store that has many chairs, find a chair that fits you best. And so you can make a mistake, but you can fix the mistake very easily.
Yeah. How many years do you use your chair?
Close to 20 years.
20 years?
Yes.
Same chair?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
What about your bed?
Yeah, we have the bed. I made the bed. I made the bed myself. Yes.
You made? Wow.
I made the bed.
Wow. What's it like?
Oh, it's beautiful. My initial, and it has my wife's initial. I made the bed when we were married 35 years ago.
Wow.
But the mattress is new and it's very firm. But the bed is something I made 35 years ago.
Wow. I wonder, so in your home, what do you think is the oldest things, do you think? I guess perhaps that is older than you.
Well, the house is older than me. I do have a few things from my father. They're just tiny little things. I do have some clothes from high school.
Wow.
I have my winter jacket.
Yes.
That I been wearing since high school.
Wow.
And I have a scarf, a winter scarf that I still have. That's 50 years.
Wow. It's a half century.
Yeah. 50 years, the same clothes.
Wow. That's nice.
I love old clothes. I like wearing clothes until they get holes in them.
So vice versa, recently, do you buy any new clothes?
Yes. My wife makes me buy new clothes. But these days, when I buy a new shirt, it's all the same color. I have 15 shirts that are this color.
Wow.
And they look the same. I don't have to think about what I wear. I put on the same uniform every day. When I go give a talk, I have a blue shirt with a collar. I have 10 of them, but they all look the same.
So it's blue?
It's a blue. My jacket is yellow. Nice. I have 3 yellow jackets.
Wow.
It's like a uniform.
That's good. Recently, I'm bothered to select clothes every morning. So I'm thinking about wanting new clothes as a uniform like you. That's nice. Yeah, thank you.
I don't have to think about it. Also, I don't wear anything that has a logo.
Logo.
No logos. No logo on my hat, my jacket, no logos. I don't do advertising for other people.
So why? Of course, I guess what you do, but I wonder.
It's the clothing company. They didn't pay me to advertise their brand, so I'm not going to wear it.
I see. I've got it. Okay. Next question, page 145 in the original version and 310th word in the Japanese version. A prescription for popular success. Do something strange. Make habit of you are weird.
Yes.
I'm so inspired and many listeners, audiences want to know about answer from you. What your official, unusual, or undisputed behaviors or habits?
Well, one thing is not wearing any logos.
Other than that, please.
Wearing the same clothes. I think a weird thing is I like to take pictures of various things that nobody think is important. Lots of people collect things, but I collect things with pictures. Okay. Like, I have a collection of maybe all the different barks on a tree. The tree.
Yeah.
Every time I see a new tree with a new bark, I'd take a picture. And I have to take that picture. I have to stop. My wife has to stop. I have to take the picture of the bark because I'm collecting the bark pictures. I'm collecting pictures of things that are like manhole covers in Japan, actually.
Yes.
You know the manhole covers?
Yeah.
They're beautiful, but I take a picture. I have hotel carpeting in a hotel.
Yeah.
I have to take a picture of it.
Wow.
I take a picture of every bed in the hotel. They're all different. So that's kind of weird. Why would anybody do that? That's a very strange, weird thing.
I do think so.
but in that weirdness will come something. So the people that I know that produce beautiful songs, they're songwriters or they're whatever, they're making art. There's something weird about what they're doing. They're strange. They're spending time making little marks on the paper. They're knitting something. They're keeping a spreadsheet about this or that. It's weird. Normal people don't do that. But that what makes their art or their entrepreneur or their science so good because they're doing something that ordinary other people would not do. That's how you do things differently. That's how you think differently. That's how you come up with something new. Doing something that most ordinary people would not do. They find it boring or they find it tedious. But you enjoy it. You should really try and do more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think thinking different is very important in our creative life, needless to say.
Right.
In such a sense, this phrase was so inspired to me. But this phrase, reading, understanding is very easy, but being strange and a weird person is not so easy. It's a strange question, but what do we do if we would like to be a strange person? What do you say?
How to be, that should be in the name of my next book. Should be called How to Be Weird.
Yeah. So if so, please pay me a little bit money, please.
Yes, right. We can co-author. We can write it together.
Yeah. I'm very honored. Yeah.
Right. How to Be Weird. I think it's natural that children are weird. And what happens is as we get older, we get it pounded out of us. We get it removed. I think naturally we are all weird as kids. I don't think the problem is how to be weird. How you become weird is by not letting other people tell you who you are. I think we are naturally weird. And so it's about recovering what you did as a child. It's recovering what you would like to do. It's recovering the kinds of things that make you happy, that make you peaceful, that flow, where you're not aware of time. So how to be weird is you should try to spend more time doing things wish you wouldn't ever have to stop. So I don't know what that would be for you. There may be something in your life.
Yes.
Is it reading a novel or is it playing with trains, walking? There's something in your life. And the more you can indulge that, the more you can practice that, the weirder you will get.
Yeah.
So what is it for you that you really like doing and wish would never stop? What do you like to do?
Yeah, when it comes to never stopping in my life is needless to say interviewing. Because to tell the truth, after graduating university, I was a staff writer in newspapers company in Hiroshima. I started career as a journalist. But unfortunately, at the time, I noticed that I didn't like writing, even journalist. At the time,
questions.
So after that, fortunately, I came up with the idea if I have my own podcasting and YouTube program about interviewing, I might have good career, not writing, only interviewing.
Yes.
So my business has started 20 years ago. Podcasting is not popular. So guess what? Unfortunately or fortunately, in Japan, even now, podcasting is not so popular compared to the United States, right? But thanks to that, I think I have run my own company, I think.
Yeah. You're weird. My kids, I ask questions when I meet people, I interview them. And my kids, they're like embarrassed and they think it's weird that's what I like to do is to interview somebody that I just meet. And so I'm sure people maybe thought you were as weird because you like to, when you have a dinner party and you're sitting next to someone, do you interview them? Probably yes. I'm imagining. My theory is everybody that's sitting next to me, each of that person, who knows, they're on a bus, you're on a train, you're in an airplane, you're at a dinner table. I believe that that person next to me knows more about something than anybody else. And my job is to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
There's something that you know much more than me and maybe more than anybody. And I want to be able to find out what that is. So I'm going to be interviewing them here to let them tell me what it is that they know more than anybody. So they can teach me at that moment. And that's what I'm interviewing for when I'm sitting next to a stranger is I know you know something that you want to share with me, but I'm going to give you a chance to tell me. Eventually, I ask you some questions.
I agree. So in such a sense, is everyone teacher? So for you?
Exactly. And I think that helps also when there are people who who you disagree with. I encounter people that I don't even really like, and maybe I disagree with them on some ideas. Maybe they're racist. Maybe they are sexist. Maybe they're mean.
Yeah.
But I also believe that they probably know something that I don't know. So I would try to learn from them.
Okay. Let's do the next question. Page 91 in the original version and 191st word in the Japanese version. To be remarkable, read books. About that, what books are on your nightstand?
Right now I have some guidebooks. I have some travel guidebooks. I have a book of poetry by Rumi, R-U-M-I. He was a 12th century Muslim poet.
Wow.
Rumi. He's a very favorite. I have a book that I'm reading about. It's called Dominance, and it's about the invention of religion in the West. History book. I have a science fiction book by Andy Weir called Hail Mary.
Yes.
He wrote Mars, The Martian. He wrote The Martian. And let's see, I just finished a book on AI, Convergence, about contemporary AI written just this year. I mostly read nonfiction. And when I want to read fiction, I usually listen to it in the car or an audible book.
Audible.
I will listen to fiction. In the book, I like to read nonfiction.
So why? Is it easier?
It's easier. It's easier for fiction. It's like having your mommy read you a story.
I see.
You hear a story. It's very harder to read fiction. Maybe I'm not as patient, but if I'm listening to it, then I find it very easy to listen to.
I see. I've got it. So interesting because for me, I would say it's completely opposite. On my nightstand, I have read fictional book. Basically, thanks to that, it's easy to sleep. So, I mean, non-fiction books is very interesting and inspiring. Because of that, sometimes it's very exciting. It's very difficult to sleep. Do you have no problem about that?
I have no problem sleeping. One of my superpowers is sleeping.
What do you think is key to success super sleeping?
Picking the right parents.
Sorry?
You have to pick your right parent. It's genetics. So I have a superpower in sleeping because I inherited the genes. My wife has genes that makes it very difficult for her to sleep. So for me, I'm a robot. I have a switch. I turn off the sleep. I lay down, I turn off the switch to sleep. And then in the morning I get up, turn the switch back on. That's it.
How many hours do you sleep usually?
About 6.5.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 1:30 at night. I get up at 7:30. And then 1:30 in the afternoon, I take 20-minute nap.
I see.
Every 1:30, I sleep for either 6 hours or then for 20 minutes.
So after getting up, what do you do?
I don't have any morning. I do a walk. I walk for 40 minutes, 45 minutes every morning.
Even rainy, snowy, or...
Yeah. Just walk. I'm a very good walker. I can walk many hours. This weekend, I did 30,000 steps a day. Every day, 30,000 steps. I can walk a lot. I do a walk and talk. You might be interested in walk and talks. We've done some in Japan. I have invite 9 friends and we walk every day along like one place to another, staying at like a Rokon. And then we just have a day pack and our luggage is forwarded. And for 1 week, we talk with people. And in the evenings at the meal, we have a conversation. So we walk for a week and it's a conversation. It's called a walk and talk. And we have them all over the world, sometime in Japan, England, Thailand, China, Portugal. So it's the best way to have a conversation is when you're walking with somebody. Spend hours and hours, small talk, big talk. After a week of walking with somebody, you know them very well. You see how they deal with things. Great way to get to know somebody is to walk with them. Steve Jobs was very famous because when people wanted to meet Steve Jobs, he would say, come walk with me. They don't sit in a chair. No, come, we'll do a walk together for 45 minutes and you'll have a conversation. And it's a much better way to meet somebody. Right now, when people want to meet me, if you write to me and you say, oh, I'm coming to San Francisco, can we meet? I say, okay, come meet at 2:00 and we'll do a walk. Come walk with me on the hills. It's the best way to meet somebody.
Yeah. So thanks to you, I came up with the idea. I want to make new interview series, walking interviewing.
Yes, that works. We tried that. I have a friend who did that. That was his thing with a podcast. Was walking interviews.
And that's nice.
It really does work.
Yeah, I do think so.
You have the little microphone, the wireless microphone. The Rode Go. It's perfect.
Oh, really?
Perfect sound quality.
I will buy it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So because for me, walking and running is like a meditation. It's a key to be isolated, but you are opposite in a sense. What does walking mean to you? Not meditation, to talk, to have a great conversation. Other than that, do you have?
I think walking is interesting because it does two contradictory things. It empties your mind and it gives you new ideas. It takes the old ideas away and makes it easier for new ideas to come in. If you're worried about something or thinking about something, it's a good way to contemplate. I think there's something different, something about the way your legs are working, your heart is pumping. You have different ideas when you're walking than when you're sitting in a chair. When I'm writing, when I have a very, very difficult thing to write, I will walk. That will help me clarify my thinking. I have to walk. I can't figure it out sitting down. There's something about the way our bodies are built that when you're walking, you can have better ideas. You can have new ideas. You can have the old ideas can go away. The stress goes away. There's something about walking that's very, very powerful with ideas.
I see.
Life Update